Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of MC Eternal. Hope that everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. Today is June the 12th of 2020, and we're jumping right back on into things today. So, I've done a decent amount of work off camera. I was trying to figure out the direction of this series. I feel like I've struggled for the past maybe 2 or 3 episodes with understanding what direction I want to go in with this, if we want to wrap it up and move on to a different mod pack, or how we want to handle it. I did find some new motivation in immersive engineering though, that's for sure. But we're just gonna keep going with it for now. I have a feeling that realistically, relatively soon, I'm gonna wrap up this series and we'll start a new mod pack. Just because we're getting to that point where we're getting a little bit OP, and then we started dabbling in a decent amount of the different mods that are in this mod pack. There are plenty more that we could obviously undertake, but some of them are just more so grindy than what a lot of people want to see. A lot of people like to see the adventuring and like just finding those good pieces of loot when you're out exploring. And when you get to a point where that loot doesn't really much matter, it doesn't, you start losing a lot of interest in it. But anywho, that's beside the point. I just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time. So like I said, I did do a little bit of off camera work, I should say. So I went into the Between Lands to get some additional resources. I'm still having some bugginess there, so we're not gonna bother going back there. But I ended up getting some of this this swamp dirt, and then some peat as well, I believe. Yeah, peat. And I also made this a marsh biome, so I used our biome staff, grabbed the marsh biome from there, and I made our little place here into a marsh biome. I think the coloring looks a little bit cooler. It adds a little bit more green to it, like a more dark, vibrant green, which I'm digging. And then obviously I added that dirt in and everything like that, and I added in some additional plants that I found. Nothing too crazy there. The main thing that I did is over here. So as you can tell, a lot has been done over here. We took down our big tower that was there. For whatever reason, it did not have a boss at the top of it. Typically, when you fight the boss at the top of those towers, it destroys the tower pretty far down, so you can then just clean it up and have it be. But for whatever reason, there was no boss, so we had to take it down manually. I never bothered with it, but I figured, hey, why not? Let's take it down. Let's open up the space a little bit more, make it look a little bit nicer. So I think it looks really, really good without having that big, ugly cobblestone tower there. And then obviously I've filled in some trees and stuff around this area with some foliage. I also moved things so we can come down here. As you can see, I added in some fencing along here as well. I kept these two bad boys over here, so our blast furnace and our coke oven over here. And I added some walkway in here, so it looks like people are regularly coming up to these bad boys. Again, added in some trees and some foliage to kind of make it look more enclosed, which is a very homey feeling, a very like wilderness feeling almost. It feels like things have grown over time. It doesn't feel like just a flat blank slate. I also crafted up a metal barrel from Immersive Engineering because we got pretty full up on our creosote oil here. I have been making coal coke, and then this has been making steel as well for us. They are very, very slow processes for it all. Actually, which reminds me, I should probably switch over and get some more of this stuff going. I'll just throw in the blocks for now, because those will take a while to do, and we're getting a good amount of steel out of that, and slag as well. But yeah, I left these bad boys as is, and I think they look really nice and tucked away over here. Now I did obviously cut down through here, and I made a new waterway going back and around that way so we can move our water wheel and get it more positioned in a realistic place, I should say. And so I made this bridge going across our newly formed river, and then I have it divert off a little bit of the stream to come through and power our water wheel from Immersive Engineering. Now I did get hook that up to our kinetic dynamo, which is how it functions. And then I made 2 LV wire connectors and some additional copper wire, and just connected the dynamo to our LV capacitor in here. And we're already full charge because I did this quite some time ago. and it's just been charging ever since. Obviously, I also made this little structure to get things going for immersive engineering, and I put our engineer's workbench over here. There's obviously more that needs to be done on this building, need to build it out and everything like that. But it works for now, and I put some torches all around here, put some more trees down. This is the back area, so actually if I come down the way that it's supposed to go, you could come across the bridge here, you can go straight over there, or you could come this way. You got to mind your head with the wire, and you can come back here to where we have this little kind of wrap around water area. And I also planted some hemp back here as well, which is perfect because that's going to factor into what we are doing today. Now I am going to grab our gardening scythe, or garden scythe, because this bad boy is amazing when it comes to harvesting. I mean, we were able to just get all of that harvested with one click. So these bad boys stay like that. That's how they grow. And once they get to that second block height, then you can harvest them from there. So, and you can get these industrial hemp seeds from anywhere out in the world. You can just break grass, break those Pam's Harvest Craft little bushes, these bad boys right here, and you can find that. So that's how you can get those. But anywho, so like I said, we got things up and running here, and we did complete some quests because of some of the things that I made. So let's actually grab some of these rewards. So we collected hemp fiber, so we get a little bit of money from that. We did make the LV wire connector, so we'll grab some of that. I actually went to a couple villages to pick up some treated wood. If you are in need of treated wood and you don't feel like taking the time to make it, villages are a good source of it. There is an immersive engineering building at every single village, or at least there should be, and they are partially made out of this treated wood. So if that is what you need, it is a good way to easily get some of it. So we can collect that now because we did get more than 16 of them. So just a little bit of money. And we are moving right along. So we have made good progress with a lot of this stuff. There's still a lot to explore and a few things that I really want to accomplish for this. So first and foremost, I want to address our wiring right here. So I set it up so it could you could still walk under it, and it would connect to our little capacitor in there. However, if you walk on this side, you're fine. If you go this way, you hit the wire. And when you hit the wire, you take a little bit of damage because it's an exposed wire that's transferring energy. That's how it would be in the real world, realistically. So what I do want to craft up are... Where are they? They're in here somewhere. They're down here. So these are the wire coils that you use. And I want to make an insulated LV wire coil because we're using LV, low voltage. There's also HV, which is high voltage. I'm guessing that would come from some of the bigger energy producers within immersive engineering. So I want to make some of this insulated. It's very, very easy to make. You just need the LV wire coil, or just the wire coil in general. There's a recipe for low voltage and high voltage, and then you just need a decent amount of this tough fabric. And this tough fabric is just made with this industrial hemp fiber and then any stick in the middle. And that is why I got these hemp plants up and going here, because I wanted to get to that fiber. So let's actually, I think we have to unfortunately break that connector so we can get the wire off of it, and I'll put that back up there. And then if we come into our storage terminal here, we can search for at immersive, so it'll pull everything up. Now we have already found some tough fabric, but obviously 3 isn't going to be enough. We're going to need some more. And as you can see, I actually picked up a few more things while I was out and about. I got some iron mechanical components, some steel mechanical components, iron rods, treated sticks, a whole slew of things. So just keep an eye out if you're visiting villages. It's a great place to get it. And you can see I have 105 treated wood planks. So great way to get it, definitely an easy way to get it. But anywho, So we need to make some more of this tough fabric. So if we come over here, we need some of this. We can go like that. And I think we only need 5 to start with. So I'm only going to craft up 2 more because we already have some of those. And then I'm going to get this insulated LV wire coil going. This should prevent us from hurting ourselves when we go underneath that wire. The other thing I do want to point out is there's actually a few other types of wire coil in this mod pack. So there's hemp rope coil, there's steel cable coil, and redstone wire coil. Now you can see underneath it, there are different descriptions for it. So the hemp rope and the steel cable are only for decoration purposes. There is no power that's actually transmitted through them. And then the redstone wire coil actually will transmit redstone signals. It again doesn't transmit power, but it's pretty cool because you could loop it into a redstone system if you're setting something up. But anywho, let's hop back outside here and we can click on our connector up there. And you can see it's linking to that one. And then you just click on the other connector you want to link things between, and it'll get it all linked up. Now, if we pass underneath, we're not going to get shocked because it has that insulation around it, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. And realistically, down the line, we could even, put it up a little bit higher. And I'm sure we're going to get a little bit more energy production in here if we get that far down into immersive engineering. So what's next, you may be asking. So if we take a peek in our quests here, there are a few things that we could get up and running. One of the cool things I thought would be neat to take on is this garden Cloche, I believe it's pronounced. So this can be used, if you power it, to make, to basically as like hydroponics, if you guys know what that means. Basically, you put this inside a building, you put some dirt in it, and then you put your plant in there, and using power, it will and I think you actually have to put water to it as well. It will produce that plant. So kind of like what we have set up for forestry, but on a more singular scale, because you can only do 1 plant per one of these. But I thought that would be pretty cool to get up and going, or at least to make, because we will need to get figured out the water situation as well. So we do need an iron mechanical component. We have picked up actually a few of them, but if you were curious on how they are made, this is how they're made. You just need some iron plates, which we went over in the last episode, and then a little bit of copper, which is not too bad. The other thing you're going to need is a vacuum tube. So this bad boy, you're going to need an engineer's blueprint, and then you're going to need a few crafting components in the engineer's workbench. So let's go in here and we'll click on this. Actually, we need to grab a blueprint. So I have a few here, but they're already assigned to things. As you can see, there's arc furnace electrodes, and then there's common projectiles. Now what we want to do, I think, is just common components, I believe. I think that is the one that we're going to want. Now you can find this out in the world as well. That's how I found the other 2 blueprints. But if not, don't worry, you can craft it as well. Luckily for us, we do have everything we need for it. So we can grab that. And then we can come into here. And I believe we can put this in here. And it shows you what you can make on the right hand side here. So this is where you put the components in, and then this is what you can have as an outcome. And it actually also is very nice because it shows you what is required for each component. So for our vacuum tube, we need a stained glass of some kind, nickel plate, copper wire, and redstone. So with that being said, let's go over here because I'm obviously going to forget what we need instantly when we go away from it. So we do need a nickel plate. We do need some copper wire, which I don't believe I have any more copper. Oh, I do have some copper wire. Okay. So let's get like 4. Maybe we'll craft up about 4 of these. We do need nickel plates, and luckily we have a ton of nickel because we have found huge deposits of nickel, and we can get a few of these nickel plates. I will grab that, and I'll nix that out of there. And then we need some glass. Now, I don't think, do we need a panel specifically, or is it any kind of glass? Any kind of glass should work fine. So we'll get 4 of those, just like so. And then we need some redstone. So we just need 4 redstone. So I would assume it's shapeless, but we'll give it a go. We'll put everything in there. Yep, it is shapeless. You don't have to have it in the exact pattern that it shows when you look it up. And one of these, so one of each component will make 3 output. So 3 tubes from one thing. Since we're doing 4, we're going to get 12 tubes, which is awesome. I will definitely take all 12 of those because I'm sure that we'll be using a decent amount of them down the line. So let's stick those away into our storage system as well. I'm going to put that insulated wire away as well for now. So the next thing that we need for this is the iron mechanical component. You can make it like that, or you can make it for less materials in the workbench. So I guess I didn't mention that earlier. I didn't realize it earlier. So your best bet would be to make it in the engineer's workbench because you'll get you'll use less materials for it. Realistically, you could probably almost get double for the same amount of resources. You would just have to use an extra copper ingot, and you could get 2 of those. But luckily for us, we already have a few of them. So we should be able to craft this bad boy up. And there we go. We got our garden cloche. So I'm just going to put this bad boy in here somewhere. Where would be the best place for it? We could just stick it right here for the time being. So now you can see there's a couple different inputs in here and it can be a little bit confusing. So first and foremost, I believe we can just stick some wire on the top. So let's go to Immersive here. I put this away and then I instantly needed it. So let's grab that. You cannot attach this wire here. Oh, because we're already attached. Is that the case? Interesting. We might have to make another low voltage to have it link up to this wire connector. I would assume that's how we're working with this. All right, so I got it set up right, I think. So I just moved things around so it would work a little bit better. I could be mistaken on some of these connectors, but basically what I did is I shifted it so our capacitor was a little bit higher up, had our connector go into the side there, because you can put connectors on the side, and then put another connector on top here, because you can't connect 2 wires to the same connector. And then I made some of these relays, which are pretty easy to make. Let me show you really quickly right here. You just need some terracotta and copper. So pretty straightforward to make. I also do want to correct myself. Before I said there's only 2 types of power, low voltage and high voltage. I was mistaken and I'm sorry. There's also medium voltage. So there's low, medium, and high. So just keep that in mind. But I think I have it set up properly. Now, this doesn't appear to be working. Nothing is there and we're not getting any power. But I think it's that we need to get water to it first. So I want to test it out before we go a little bit farther here. So I'm going to grab some water from over here. And then I'm going to place it in here. And I thought that I would be able to. Maybe I'm not able to. Interesting. That it won't let me put it directly into it. I would have thought that it would let me, but maybe it is not like that. Well, anyway, we could move on to doing something different to continue down this path, which is getting a fluid pump up and going with some fluid pipes. Now, these pipes are pretty easy to make. You just need some iron plating. And then the pump is really easy to make too. You just need the iron mechanical component, iron plates, and then fluid pipes there. So let's go over to here. Let's get some of these bad boys made up. I think maybe 24 would be perfectly fine. And then I'm going to craft up 1 pump here. That is going to give us a quest completion there. Actually, it gave us a couple of them. To be honest here, holy smokes, it did do a lot of stuff for us. Oh, this was from the garden Cloche and the LV wire relay. So we'll grab some rewards from that. And then the fluid pumps, we made more than 16. And then the fluid pump itself. The fluid pipes, we made more than 16. And then we made a fluid pump, I should say. So I think realistically we could have this out here and then have it pumping in. So how do we want to do this? We could probably expand this by just a little bit here. And I'm going to go one more down there. And then I think I already have it set to these. We're going to put in 1, 2, 3. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to hop up here. And then actually I think we're going to want to go one more down. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we would be, we might be fine having it right here. I don't know if I want it that close. I think I could put a bucket of water like down here. Ooh, it does not like that. It spins a lot faster when we have it like this. Yeah, it keeps slowing it down a lot. So maybe we'll do a little sneak here. Oh, that completely, did we break the game? Hang on, we got a little bit of lag here. Nope, okay, we're good. And it's still flowing just fine. If we put a little sneak there and then, oh, okay. No, we're just gonna separate it. I really wanted it to be where we would pull it from over here somewhere. But unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna, I mean, we could go one more down maybe. Like if we went right there. And then we dug this out like so. Not like that. Just like that. And we put a bucket of water right there. But even still, it's not going to, it's not an infinity pool of it. We need a 3x3 for that to happen. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me get something in place here, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, so it took me a teeny bit of time to get things sorted out, but I think we're in a good place now. So, when in doubt, I always want to say, reference your manual here. This is extremely helpful, especially when trying to figure things out for your first time, like how I am. I'm not an expert in this mod, and I needed to look up a few things, so this definitely helped me out a lot. So what we wanted was our, it was fluid transport. This will go through all of the information around transporting fluids, getting fluid pipes up and going, getting your fluid pump. I showed you that just a minute ago, I believe, but I just wanted to, again, reference it because it is super helpful. Now, I got everything set up here. We have our fluid pipe coming in here. I have it going down, routed out under the ground, out here, to our fluid pump. Now you can put your fluid pump above the water if you want to, or you can put it below. You do need to have a lever attached to it in some form or fashion, so that's how I have mine set up here. I might even need to actually move it to the back side now that I'm thinking about it. So let's really quickly move it to this side over here. And we'll turn that on just so that it's on. As you can see, we come in here, the water is all pumped in here already. We have our one piece of dirt. And the thing that I do want to mention, actually one or two things I want to mention with the fluid pump. So as I said, you can have it above or below. You do need a lever to it. You do need power to it, like how I have set up here. And by default, the bottom is an input. Whenever you place it, the bottom will always be an input. Now you can change this using the hammer, like so. And as you can see, you also have to set an output. So our side here is set to an output for our pipe. By default, this won't have anything there. So if you right click with your hammer, that's how it'll look normally. Default, nothing. You can once right click and it'll give you blue, that's an input. And then click again, orange, that is your output. So fairly straightforward with that. I have mine set up like this with water underneath it so it can collect from all of those different water blocks below. You can actually set it up to completely remove water blocks, but that is not our goal. Our goal is to only have it pick up just water and then move it over. We don't want it to be destroying water blocks. Now that we have this set up over here, I guess I actually should run you through how I set up the wiring as well. So from my simple understanding of wiring, this is how I have it set up off of our capacitor here, because I cannot connect I can't connect two wires to the same connector for whatever reason. So I have it set up like this, one off the side and one off the top. The top one comes over to our gardening machine here, and then the other one comes up to the top to some wire relays that I have going over to our pump there. Again, very, very simple wiring methods here. I'm sure it can get very, very complex as we go on. Now, since we have this up and running, I believe we can just put our hemp seeds in there and it'll get going here. So it'll show you your fertilizer with a growth modifier there. I believe you can change this, and this bad boy is just going to keep going. It's going to grow. It's going to use up water, and I believe our water pump will just continually keep working. It shouldn't have any issues from my understanding, but I guess we'll give it a second here. And you can see we're already producing hemp and we're producing hemp seeds. Now, I believe you can have this output in some kind of way. I'm not 100% sure, though, on that, because there isn't... I don't know if there are actually item ducts in this one. I guess we could just look up item. Yeah, I don't think there are... Yeah, there aren't any item ducts in here, but I believe you could use another mod like thermal expansion to move items out of that inventory. But for us, this works perfectly. We have now a decent, steady production of industrial hemp fiber, which is great. So yeah, that's pretty much that set up there. And now the other thing I do want to point out, these little connectors here at the bottom, I believe allow you to place multiple of these ones right next to each other. So if you wanted to have another one of these gardeners right here, the power would be transferred over to here, and then you would just need to pump some water to it, is the only other thing, which is really nice to have. So if we take a look here, we already checked off a lot of these quest lines. We have that up and going. So I think the next item that I would personally like to make is maybe one of the chemical flamethrowers. That would be pretty sick to see. And really, it isn't that much. It doesn't take that many materials. You need a pressurized air tank, which is pretty straightforward to get. And then you need fluid pipe, which we already have, a bucket. You need a heavy engineering block, which is made like so. So you couple pistons, couple steel mechanical components, and then finally 2 of these wooden grips here, and then you can make that. Now, I don't know, it looks like you do need to... no. I'm curious what the chemical flamethrower will take as fuel. So actually, really quickly, before we round out the episode here, I do want to see if they have them in here. So maybe tools? Yep, chemical thrower. So here's a little bit of wording around the chemical thrower. It's a device that propels fluid from its internal tank. It can be loaded with any fluid, liquid or gas, and on a right click will spray it out. It also features a function to ignite the fluid if it is flammable, to toggle the pilot light, sneak, and right click. Oh, that's pretty interesting, actually. Ooh, it can be modified in the engineer's workbench. These upgrades affect the size of the tank, the range, and the spread. So you can put a large tank on there, a focused nozzle, multi-tanks if you want to hold a lot of it, and that's actually really, really cool. And there's also the rail gun, and I believe that we can put our shaders that we got from the Twilight Forest on that. So with that being said, guys, though, we are going to wrap out the episode there. I know not a ton done today, but I feel like we got to a pretty good point getting this bad boy up and going. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna jump over to here so you can see it very well. I think that it looks really, really cool, and I think this is a cool mod to explore. I somewhat wish that we had done it a little bit earlier on in our gameplay, but maybe on our next mod pack, if it has it in there, we'll start with this mod rather than jumping into like a thermal expansion right off the bat. But anyways, guys, like I said, that's going to wrap up the episode there. If you like this episode, feel free to leave a like down below, or better yet, leave me a comment. I appreciate all the comments that you guys leave, and I do try to read through them and respond to as many as possible. If you're new to the channel, you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and bell notification, and I'll let you know every single time a new episode is posted to the channel. I do also stream over on Twitch. I have that link in the description as well. My current schedule is Friday afternoons from about 12:30 p.m. to about 5 or 6 p.m. That is Eastern Standard Time here in the States. So if you're interested in that, check out the description below the video. But on that, guys, thank you for sticking through till the end. I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.